We're not just there like, yeah, come buy our plants. We are actively working on what is the best thing for that plant. What is it? What can we do to make it more sellable or more prepared to be more successful as it goes into somebody's garden?
We have such a huge variety at Millcreek that you won't find anywhere else because we spend a lot of time behind the scenes looking through availabilities and finding those unique plants that people are looking for.
People knock on the door and say, hey, I see some trees over here. Can you sell them to me? And that's really how the garden center got started, is by saying yes.
All right, with me today are two ladies who actually have my dream job. I would love to be working outside during the summer and the fall in a garden.
Come on over, we can help with that.
Yeah, I might have to start a second career at some point because Loreen and Heidi from Millcreek Gardens, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, we're glad to be here.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what you've done on 900 East in Millcreek. It's this incredible oasis, huge garden center that's just been there as long as I've been alive. You're celebrating right now
70 years.
70
Yeah.
years.
It's very intentional what we're doing there, and anticipating that somebody like you might have some needs in your garden, and being able to help you with that, whether it be native water-wise or whether it be something edible. Even this time of year, you can plant some things that you can eat in the fall and even through the winter. If you put a little cold frame together, which is basically something raised up, and you can cover it with a piece of plastic even. So something simple like that. But it's well thought out for many, many years with some awesome people.
Yeah.
Some team members at Millcreek Gardens. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, and so today, for the purpose of this program, I'd like to hear your story, Loreen, how you got it, how your father got it started and developed his niche, because I've honestly heard a lot of stories about gardens, garden centers, family operations where whether the land price gets too elevated, some of the kids want to sell, some don't. They end up selling because they can't keep it together as a family. How your grandfather managed the niche and how you managed to keep it together as a family. Can you tell us a little bit of background on that?
Okay, first of all, it's my father, her grandfather, and Heidi's my daughter.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. But when my dad went to school at Utah State University, he and my mom were up there, and he went to school in landscape architecture, and he came down to Salt Lake and wanted to have a landscape business. And right along his side is my mother, who she's super intentional about being very efficient and watching things, and has a good head on her shoulders to bounce things off of. And so they two together developed this business. But what it was to begin with is my parents were looking for a site to have this garden center, and they found this piece on 9th East at 3500 South that had a house and a dilapidated greenhouse. So they went and made an offer on the property, and for some reason the people took the offer and then they backed out. It was like, that's weird. And so maybe that wasn't supposed to happen. And in the meantime, my father had purchased plants from my uncle's nursery, my mother's sister's husband's family, in Oregon, and they were on their way. So they actually had to take it to my grandpa's place, which is some acreage in 3rd East and 4800 South in Murray, which is now homes. And that's a whole nother story that maybe for another time. But so they put the plants over there at this house. And then middle of December, it was a super cold winter, and the people were elderly, and they said, we have got to get out of here. Called my dad back up, said, are you still interested? We'll lower the price. Will you move in? So they were all happy about that. And on the 23rd of December in 1955, my parents moved into that house with 3 children. And they had to fix it up quickly of some of the holes. And my mom said there was 3/4 inch between some of the windows because the house had sagged and settled and everything. And it was actually built in the 1860s. Wow. That office there is pretty old. If you go underneath into where the dinosaurs live down underneath, you can see the rock, the original part of the rock foundation for the original part of the home. Wow. That part has adobe walls too, so it's pretty cool. That's where my office is, which used to be the living room. Anyway, Um, so they started out, and my dad wanted to have a place where he could have his plants so that he could go out and landscape and have the plant material that he needed. And so that was the beginnings. They moved in with $25 in their pocket, and had to have the power company and the gas company, etc. Hey, we'll pay you in the springtime. We'll give you like $1 a month or something. But $25 back in the day was a lot more than today, but it wasn't enough to get a family through the winter. In the meantime, my dad went out and found work, and he had a Polaroid camera. And this is a cool story. And these particular markers, and he would go to somebody's house, and there was a lot of new building in the area, and even all over the valley, a lot of new building. And he could go to your house, and he would take a picture, and then he would take that picture, and it would come out of the Polaroid thing, and then he would take his markers, and he would draw out the lawn like a nice oval or circular area, and then he would place the plants and the trees and shrubs in there and color them with his different markers. And then he would go to the door and he would say, hey, I'd like to show you a picture of your house. And then they'd see it and they'd say, well, or show you a picture. They'd say, well, yeah, I'll look at this picture. They'd look at it and say, that's my house. So he goes, yeah, I took it with my Futuroid camera. So, you know, here's this picture of their yard. And he did that multiple times. He actually did that when he was working a part-time job before he actually started Millcreek Gardens. So I don't know where he came up with the idea.
That's a great idea.
And then another thing he did, few years later, is he come up with a mood zoned landscape, which has come and gone multiple times since then. But like, how do you use your yard? Is there a play area? Is there a picnic area? Is there a quiet area? You know, do you want to put a fountain here? Do you want to put a bird bath for that wildlife? Or is it a native? Or, you know, what are the themes of the garden? There's usually, you know, 3 to 5 elements at every garden. One of my favorites is the all season color year round of what do you have? You start in the early springtime and late spring into summer, fall, winter, and you can put different plants in there that are going to have structure and foliage and texture changes, and it's just beautiful.
That's so
And
cool.
that's how you create that. And that little sentence, mood zone landscape, is what taught me when I was very little at his heels running around with him, which is where I really started, as well as out in this barn that he went out to Midvale, and he bought an old barracks, an old army barracks, and he chained it to a tractor, and he drug it down the road from Midvale to Millcreek Gardens, and he dragged it to the back of the nursery, and that was our warehouse for 45 years until I
Wow.
took it down and put other things up.
Wow. And back then you could attach a building to a tractor and haul it
Well,
around.
that's what he did. He probably did it at 2 in the morning or something. I don't know how he did it, but
Huh.
it was back in the day, you know,
Yeah.
1956 or
Bunch of
7 or
farms
8 or
out
whatever.
there and yeah.
And and it was a sizable building. It was probably, like, see, you know, 1,000 square feet or so. And I think he brought more than one building, and then he cut holes them and attached them. He did
Jeez.
that to, I think, 2 of them. And then he'd put some of their singles up because they were very reasonably priced. So one of the things that concepts when you're running a business is some people think everything has to be big and beautiful and new and perfect. It doesn't. Most business is, the face of it is us and happiness and great attitudes and vision for what that client wants, what the customer wants. And that's what we do now. And we do it as fun as possible. And my goal is every day is to wake up and have a great day and
great.
keep it fun. So it's one of my mantras.
That's really great. And back to this mood zone landscapes. So when you work with customers today, and I just told you before the show that I have a rental.
Yeah, you
The
did a
yard
great job.
got trashed.
You came in and shared with us your vision.
Yeah, I just said I just want it to look good again. I mean, I didn't know about mood zones or anything like that, but they helped me pick out a whole variety of different lavender and some perennial herbs and some I think annuals are year after year, right? I always
Perennials.
perennials are year
Perennials.
after year. Yeah,
Yep.
everything was perennial. But the point is, it's just there, like you said, there's height, there's color, there's texture, there's form, and it just looks great. And I didn't have to put much thought into it. Whoever was helping me that day Just kind of had a sense for a little sugar house bungalow, what
Yeah.
worked well there. And but is that how you train your staff? Like you ask, do you tell them how to kind of do landscaping design with the customer, or what do you?
We do training. We in the wintertime, especially, we have a couple of weeks where that's what we do.
Hmm.
And what's really fun is that when there's times to be seminars, we do several podcasts a year. We have one next Tuesday about year-round containers. I
Hmm.
just sent Heidi the information, and we're going to have as many people as we can that don't we need to work on the sales for it that hour for that hour go listen to that because that's year-round color, and some of it like wintertime it's going to be taking greenery. Maybe it could be a live evergreen conifer or broadleaf or something. Could be a holly, and maybe putting some cones around the base of it. Maybe putting a couple of Christmas balls in there. Maybe some ribbon, but it also could just be branches
Yeah,
and building a hanging basket out of that and hang it in you know, your doorway
yeah,
or wherever you want to put it. So
We're definitely into continuing education for ourselves and for our employees. There's so much garden information out there that you
mhm,
can't know it all.
yeah.
We're always learning.
And I used to do a series of articles when we started the magazine was how small businesses compete against big box stores because obviously now Home Depot and Lowe's they have big garden centers, they have all these plants, they bring them in, and it's a giant truckload dumps, and people can get cheap prices. And you guys, what have you consistently done that continually sets you apart from the big box stores?
well,
Besides, I mean, you
that's
already
a
kind of
really
did some.
fun thing. We love Home Depot and we go there often for what we need. And I love it when Home Depot promotes things because people will see it and they'll go to their garden center and maybe buy something. It'll think of gardening, and I'm privileged enough times because we're in business still that they want to come to Millcreek Gardens and get things they don't see there or
Mhm.
get additional advice. And I consider that as just a beautiful opportunity. And I thank the community for that to be supporting us all these years. And I have a great attitude about the mass merchants. They can never be me and they can never be my team. That we know more nitty gritty about things. We're more creative
Yeah.
and we have a lot to offer with that. Like Heidi, she has some specialties. What she does, she's killer at putting a perennial garden together.
Hmm.
And how do you do that, Heidi? How do you think about that garden as you put your perennial together? Like, there's other various elements. How do you do that?
I mean, I like to think of texture, foliage, and blooms. I'm looking for height, things that are tall, things that are short. You want continuing patterns throughout the garden. And so I look at those continuing patterns. Doesn't have to be the same three things over and over again, but complementary things that match throughout the garden. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. A little bit more back to your story. So as your father was putting this together and you kids were growing up, what significant changes did you witness him make that kept you guys growing and kept new customers coming in the door? So it's like the point A is opening, putting your shingle out on the door and getting open, but
Yeah,
obviously the years and years of the go into developing the business, what did that look like?
that's a beautiful question, and I love to answer it this way. My father found a need for a garden center because originally he brought the plants in just for him to use for his landscaping. So picture this, our office was our house. And even before I was born, there was this going on. But about when I came around, we hired a man to be the manager. But even before that, here my mom was the mom at home raising the kids. And it would be people knock on the door and say, "Hey, I see some trees over here. Can you sell them to me?" And that's really how the garden center got started, is by
Really?
saying yes.
Hmm.
And I'm really big on saying yes. I'm also really good at saying no when it's right. And really, it's not no, but let me help you get where you need to go. Like if I don't have something or if I know of a better way, I'm going to share that because it isn't all about money. It isn't all about what you take in every day. It's building relationships, it's building trust, it's keeping it fun. And as we talked earlier, David, about your yard, where you're going to go next time and who you're going to tell. How many people you told about how beautiful your yard is and where you got your stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
So how did he get it started? And he hung the shingle, and actually we have a picture of a swing set in the front yard, and a couple of cousins and a couple of my siblings. And off in the distance on the right side, there's one of those. It's probably like 5 feet high and 6 or 7 feet wide, and it has the letters that you put up that light up at night and blink. That
Mm.
was in the day.
Yeah.
This is probably a picture from maybe the late 50s. And we can read what it says, and it says like trees and fruit trees and shrubs and perennials and annual color or something. But you put it out there, and then you do it in the funnest way possible, in a good way, and then you keep your word about it, and you run with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he put it out there, he hired help because it was more than what he was doing. And his interest was really landscape architecture. And they have done numerous jobs around the valley and Deer Valley. And like they did the top either 9 or 18 holes in Idaho or Twin Falls at that right there where the big cliff is for the river to go through. What's it called? Blue something.
I don't
Blue.
know that area.
Yeah, it's a golf course, but
Oh, is
blue
it?
something. I
Huh.
can't remember it now, but anyway, so when I was a little girl, even I was at his heels because I loved to go with him and hear about all these. He's done several temples. He's
Wow.
done several other golf courses through Wasatch Mountain State Park, for example, the top 18 holes of that.
Jeez,
And I
wow.
was a teenager at the time, so we got to drive up there and see all the beautiful fall color. And I even worked on that job once because the golf course paths for um, the vehicles, the golf carts,
Mm-hmm.
they had put a soil sterilant in. The requirement was a soil sterilant. Well, there was some areas where it was a slope, and so it bled into the grass, and the grass wouldn't grow there. So we had to go up there, pull the grass away, lay down some charcoal and maybe something else that helps that to freshen up and go away. And we did it, and it worked.
Wow.
But there's challenges that are there. Instead of just being all mad about it, you just find solutions and
But
get to
his
the
his
answers.
initial intent was just landscaping, but
Uh-huh.
he let the customers, the neighbors around tell him, "Hey, I want to buy these," and then he just decided to let that roll and
Yeah, and then he went on to
like,
bigger projects and had 8 or 10 trucks rolling out the door every day when I was a kid.
wow,
That
that's
was
pretty
amazing.
neat.
It was right down the middle of the nursery too,
Yeah.
which the trees and shrubs used to be where the parking lot is. And about 17 years ago, we made a flip to the other side, which is
Hmm.
where the parking was, and it was not all together. So that came from an idea of one of our associates. Why don't we put the parking lot over there? So I was like, oh, well, we could do that. And what was really cool about that is the help that came to work for us that season and the next season. This guy was there for a couple of years. We had this little Kubota tractor, and we did most of our work. It's an adventure. Owning a business is an adventure, and that's why I say keep it fun. And if it isn't fun anymore, you either need to change how you're running your business with calculable decisions and stop making um, reckless decisions and reckless financial decisions and reckless hiring the wrong people because you're just in big hurry or whatever happens.
Hmm.
That you be smart about it. And one of the things we've done that's really smart is do those things slower to hire and quicker to fire. But that doesn't happen very often because I don't like to do that. But really, it's smaller loads more often. Um, Having people trained,
Yeah.
multi training, so that they have the knowledge of being able to do multiple things, so you don't have to have as many people there because nobody's busy all the time except springtime.
Hmm.
And we've been able to teach and train more, and then they're more well-rounded and prepared to stay there and or go do something greater.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it too. When you took over for your father from your father, um, did you have other siblings involved? Was there any rivalry there? Was that difficult transition?
It's a
Talk
really
about
great
that.
question, but I have to go back um, about 64 or 65 years ago. one of the first jobs was I had an ice cream bucket in my left hand and I was weeding with my right, and I'd go and get these weeds. So my dad and mom taught me how to weed. And then when I was 7 or 8 years old, in that big barn, which he painted red, it was always called the Red Barn. And it had a sliding door on the north end. As where we would get the roses in the springtime very early. And we'd put some in 1 gallon and some larger grade into a 2 or 3 gallon. And back in the day, we would get the rose borer. And so you had to take, today there's like chemicals and stuff, there's solutions to take care of that. So I would have to have this bucket of tar and a 12-inch um, wooden stake, the little tiny, really thin, about this big by this big, and I would daub that in, and I would be the one that took that tar and put it on all of the new cuts. We'd cut them to make them have a nice shape, etc. They come cut now. They come pretty ready to plant. And we actually have somebody plant most of ours. But anyway, back in the day, I was the tar baby.
You were
And
how old? 6, 7?
like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's what we did every day after
That's
school in
awesome.
the springtime for that time, which also I earned money and I learned how to work when I was little. And at
That's
one
great.
point in time, I actually had a door-to-door sales opportunity that I sold things that I made. These little scrubbers that my mom helped me make out of nylon netting. We buy them all
Nice.
the time now. It's basically your little shower ball thing. I made those for. I used the heavier grade so you could scrub dishes.
Shower scrubbers.
But mine was the more rough stuff to do dishes. Those are
Oh,
those are the
okay.
soft ones.
Dish
But
scrubber.
yeah, they
Got it.
make them by the billions now,
A
and
door-to-door dish
I did that.
scrubber salesperson.
I did it. And that was my ambition. And I really didn't realize that, the ambition I had. And I'm really grateful for it because it carried me through a lot of times. Because when you run a business, it is not always the easiest or funnest. Depends on what's going on around us, since the economy, the weather, and also what really is happening in our own lives
Yeah,
personally. And I've
yeah.
had my times of up and down. So
I
now,
sold greeting cards door to door when I was 5 and 6, and
did you make him yourself?
Sunshine Sales Club. No, I it came out of a catalog, and I would essentially give the catalog to the customer and have
Oh,
them pick them out.
that's pretty
But then
cool.
I earned points, which went toward things like,
Bicycles
yeah,
and
bicycle bell or a special hat or
yeah.
um,
That's amazing.
embroidered
So
shirt or something.
we've had my grandchildren. Heidi, you got to tell about the lemonade stand. It's so cool.
Yeah, we had them come one evening or one afternoon, and my 5 nieces put together their lemonade stand with their mom, and they sat out there and they asked customers if they wanted to buy some lemonade, and they made like $250 to go
Yeah.
towards buying a
And
puppy.
so by
Nice.
by the lemonade, they had a basket of cards that they had made out of paper. And some of them said like, have a great day or happy birthday.
Huh.
And that was the funnest part to
Yeah,
me, because
that's so
anybody can
cool.
do a lemonade stand, but they brought
So they got
them.
a card with the lemonade. They gave
Well,
it
they could,
customer
I think they
cards.
were selling them for like $1
Oh, a
or
little
Yeah,
bit
something.
they could buy
extra.
them for
Nice.
And
just
so I
cute
said, well,
little, like,
make more cards, let's
5-year-old
do
too.
this.
Yeah, that's
Because
awesome.
to me, those are the most meaningful.
Yeah, I've loved being at the farmers market. The first 10 years of Utah Stories, we were at every farmers market in downtown
Hmm.
because people find a way. Like if you see a market and you have a product, it might not be the right product at the beginning, but if you just develop a relationship with customers, they're going to tell you what you should be selling and how to do it.
Uh-huh.
And I watched farmers market vendors just do that, develop their business by talking to people. And I think that's such a effective way to do it. Before you have a lot of overhead, before you have this huge business loan you've taken out to build that giant building, get to know what your customers want. And you guys have obviously done that. And
So,
We continue to do that, and
yeah.
we do
yeah,
special requests. And that is one way where the customer tells us what they want, and if we don't have it, we bring it in. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
That I do. I'm busy a lot because I chase that stuff down. I
Yeah.
chase it
and
down.
that's like we have such a huge variety at Millcreek that you won't find anywhere else, because we spend a lot of time behind the scenes looking through availabilities and finding those unique plants that people are looking for.
And the plants don't look like sad and sorry. like they do at the big box stores a few weeks after they bought them. You guys are obviously taking care of the plants the whole
Well,
time.
one thing I wanted to talk about is when you actually put your yard in. You give credit to Millcreek Gardens
Hmm.
for putting it, for telling you what to plant. I give credit to you for putting it in and taking care of it in a way that it has grown and flourished and that it's beautiful
Hmm.
now. And in a way, probably you don't spend a lot of time taking care of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to
So,
keep irrigation in mind
so
whenever you're putting anything in.
as you put that in, you can't just take a plant and put it in and expect it to grow. And we have a few returns, not too many. And we've actually had less the last few years because we've made great effort in training our teams that to really talk about hydration because this is a desert. What
Yeah.
did it look like in 1847, 1865
Hmm.
when someone moved over to Millcreek property because that's when John Scott about the early 1860s came over to the property at Millcreek Gardens. He was a pioneer and he came across the plains with three wives who had one of them we found in her journal that she had several fruit trees, bags of berries, lots of seeds, and three beehives.
Hmm.
And they brought them to that property. 3500 South, 900 East is the address today. I have no
Wow.
idea what it was at the time. And he had a farm there. He homesteaded it. And so he probably had some crops. I don't know what those are yet. We're still digging. And if anybody knows, please come talk to us because I know you have a specialty out there
You know how big
that
the
can.
original homestead was?
We're not sure. I'm guessing 100 acres. But I
Yeah.
do know this on 50th and 33rd South at the Pioneer Craft House, which is, I think it's now called the Scott School. That's one of the nicknames for it because that's where he built his school.
Hmm.
And there's still a couple of buildings left that are the log cabin type
God, that's
style.
really cool.
And my father landscaped that originally. And there's a big, beautiful sequoia tree on the south side in about the middle of the property that my father planted.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And I think we also planted the big, beautiful sequoia tree that is at 9th South and 9th East at the Smith's grocery store.
Hmm.
It's 8th South, excuse me, 8th South and 9th East on the southeast corner,
Hmm.
northeast corner. It's the northeast corner. Yeah.
That's cool. You know all that history.
Oh, I drive around and I'm like, planted that, and I wonder what that yard looks like in the back now. And no, it's really, really a beautiful opportunity for me, and it's very life affirming to me of planting seeds, planting things, and watching them grow. Because one of my favorite jobs there is what, Heidi? What do I love to do?
Dig in the dirt,
I
plant
love to dig in the dirt and plant what?
plugs.
Plugs, the little babies that come in. They come in maybe this size and maybe this size and this size of the cap and even the size of this. Some of them come in and they're about this big with a plant out of them.
Hmm.
And we plant them into the ground and grow them on. And some we
And
do
they're baby
they're
trees.
baby plants. It's usually
Nice.
herbaceous like perennials and ground covers and the vegetable starts, those kind of things. We also do some things from seed, but
Hmm.
we only grow a small percentage. We don't have the space for it. But what we've done, as Heidi mentioned, we have special request forms that like people will ask for things. And once 4 or 5 people have asked for the same thing, it's like, well, we better, find these, or if we found them, we better order a lot more, and anticipating what their needs are. And calculated guesses of anticipation, not just, well, let's just anticipate there's going to be a lot of people come. And I've done that before and I failed greatly. And I
Yeah.
don't like that part about it. So I'm going to change how I do things. It's pretty calculated now. And we grow a lot of plants for the herbaceous part of our business. And even sizes, will take something smaller and grow it bigger,
Yeah.
anticipating that somebody's going to need some big tomatoes in June or July, like really big ones, or big peppers, or different varieties of peppers.
You
That's
just put them
the
in bigger
biggie.
and bigger pots
We
where
put
they
them in
can
bigger
help you
pots, or
out.
sometimes we
That's
just get
cool.
them in whatever we can find them. And there's also times when we put a plant smaller into a bigger pot to maintain its quality. That's
Yeah.
also really important. So we're not just there like, yeah, come buy our plants. We are actively working on what is the best thing for that plant. What is it? What can we do to make it more sellable or more prepared to be more successful as it goes into somebody's garden. So
Yeah. Well, what you guys do is really special, and I want to show this. This is some jewelry they're offering. You can get a necklace with a watering can on it, and I know my little daughter's gonna love this. And then
Yeah,
yeah, two watering cans.
we've got our little Millcreek logo on them. It's a little tree
Yeah,
with
that's very
MG in
cool.
there. It's cute.
and this one here I'm wearing today, they're my little shovels. So with some little jewels on them.
Those are awesome. But what I like to always point out is local businesses who also connect with the history of the place, the specialness of the region. You are the social fabric, and we need to preserve the social fabric of our communities by buying local, supporting local, and remember, you're not doing really some kind of special favor to yourself. You're really going to get a better quality product, and you're going to get far better service than you would at big chain retail stores, big boxes. Like everybody can shop at Home Depot for what they need for commodity products, but for specialty retail, I think everybody needs to know it's just awesome to go to places like you who've been around so
Yeah,
long
and
and
we appreciate
keep
the
it.
privilege that it is. And we also hope more people will go to our website
Yeah.
and join our email newsletter so you can hear more about
Is
it.
that millcreekgardens.com?
Yes, it is.
Great.
And I also think that if you just remember where we're living and in your garden that you put together in that yard, that it did get irrigated. And when it doesn't, be accountable and responsible. Come in to us. We will assist you in what we think is wrong. 98% or more of our returns, like 98% or more, are lack of hydration to that actual root ball. So when you're planting, you're going to want to take that plant and put it in the soil the right level. And then you're going to mix the compost and the plant starter in with the 50% with the existing soil. Then you're going to put the plant in the right depth, punch
Build a
the
little
soil
berm
down,
around.
and then put a little berm around it right above it so that the berm, it doesn't have to be very big. It can be big for a big tree, but small for something small because we want the water to go right to that root ball. And if it doesn't, it's going to dry out.
Hmm.
And one of the saddest things is that people come in, and I'm just letting you know that we're here to help you. Please believe us.
Mm-hmm.
And the other piece of it is don't lie when you're talking about plants. Like if you've dried it out, we're going to help you. And that's
We've done
really
it too. We've
Yeah.
been
like
there, and
we
so
kill plants there every day. We can't keep
we
up
want
with
to
it all.
help.
So I understand correctly because I just lost a tree. It
Okay.
died on me. You have the tree and then you go a circle around, but the circle has to be a berm so the water goes.
Not really a berm, just a moat because it's small. It's just small to hold the water, something to catch the water.
Oh, like a bowl.
Yeah.
Okay, just so it
Yeah.
takes the water in and goes down
Yeah.
there. Okay, I got you.
Because some people will take and put the soil up around it
Uh-huh.
like this.
Yeah,
So then
makes
I'll-
And
sense.
that's what some communities have done across the country. That some do because it's so wet, they lift them up out of the ground, but not in
In the
Utah.
desert, you got to do
So,
the sunken in approach.
so we learn
to know.
every day. We learn from our guests. We learn from the world
Yeah.
about how to improve and be better, and to also know we're doing the right things. There's multiple people that come in there and say, "Thank you for being here. Don't go anywhere."
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere, are you? I told a few people in 1999, I hired a man to help us with the business. He was there for 33 months. Then we did parted ways. But when that happened, I was so excited because I had a 1-year-old, 5 children, my last child. And I was so excited to get a break. And this several people I told said, "You're not going anywhere, are you?" And I really didn't understand at the time what they were talking about me going anywhere and also Millcreek Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to just thank Heidi for being the next generation of Millcreek Gardens. And I want to ask all of you to be supportive of Millcreek Gardens and Heidi and the next generation and the changes we'll be making. There'll be a few changes to enhance our ability to meet your needs and to keep it fun.
That's great. That sounds
I'm
awesome.
happy to be there. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
It's a happy vibe. Like everybody there seems happy. And this is a profile in our new Faces of Utah magazine. You can recognize Heidi and Loreen. And who's that?
Chris,
Is that your husband?
No, it's my brother.
Oh, that's your brother.
Yeah,
That's
he
Chris. I was
helps a
telling the
lot.
story.
Yeah.
I was telling the story
Oh,
about
okay.
Chris.
Yeah, he's a tall guy.
Yeah,
You
he's
guys are both
amazing.
tall. But yeah, it's in our faces. So check out millcreekgardens.com. Join the newsletter. If you want to get this copy of Faces in your hand, go out to utahstories.com, and you can either buy the individual issue or become a member of Utah Stories and help support our journalism efforts and in preserving the best of local Utah. That's kind of what you find in Faces. Awesome stories about entrepreneurs, nonprofits who are really changing the face of Utah for the better, and just wonderful stories in this issue. Got an opportunity to go spend a day with farmer Thane Taggy up in Perry, Utah. He's preserving thousands of acres of land up there. The folks at Lambert Growers, also awesome in West Valley, kind of doing a different business model, Magnum Bikes. Anyway, really proud.
Can I tell you something? I know these people, and they're good people, and we're friends, and we just we support each other. And
Yeah,
I've spoken with both of those businesses in the last 24
you know,
hours.
Mary Ann and
It's actually
yeah.
Mary Ann's daughter now,
Yeah.
and also Taggies. I just spoke with.
Oh, you know them too.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it
yesterday.
seems like everybody in this knows each other. That was the case in our first issue, and because it is like the social fabric. You guys know each other.
Well,
Yeah.
it's also just in the industry. It's really helpful to know others, but just also out there,
Mhm.
it's what weaves our lives. And
Yeah.
my life is definitely enhanced by a lot of the guests that come into Millcreek Gardens, the clients that I get. There's always a gift when I go to somebody's home to landscape.
Mhm.
I always get a gift out of there. It's either extra friendship or advice or a recommendation for something that I need at that time in my life. So it's all beautiful. And if we're awake and more aware and stay open and take care of ourselves, that's a biggie. Take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's like eating
And
healthy.
gardening is the key to taking
gardening,
care of
getting your hands
yourself.
dirty.
Yeah.
And my hands are clean today. Look at that. I need to get in the dirt more. That's crazy.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us. Every day is a great day at Millcreek Gardens. Ba 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 ba.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.
Have a great day.
Clark's Auto is Utah's premier independent Subaru mechanic and auto shop. Check them out at clarksauto.com and on the back of Utah Stories magazine.